I want to listen to what I'm doing and provide a bit of chaos. You know, I want it to sound like it's part of a performance of a mix. Let's try one more.
Have you really seen true evil? Feel the glory deep within your soul. It is the master of disguise.
Automation. Today I want to talk about automation, boys and girls. People like to talk about compressors, EQs, effects, but automation is such a powerful and important tool. It can take your song, can take your mix from static to dramatic. And I'm talking about both technical corrections and creative decisions. I'm talking about micro movements and broader strokes. The art of compression is very often overlooked in mixing courses. You can automate with your mouse, you can automate with a fader. Using the right hardware kind of feels like playing an instrument sometimes, and it can really speed up your workflow. Today, we want to show you how this works. We've just released a mixing course with no other than the incredible Mike Exeter, who has worked with bands like Black Sabbath, Ronnie James Dio, Judas Priest, Cradle of Filth. He even engineered the latest Black Sabbath album with Ozzy 13, produced by Rick Rubin. He has a really impressive career and is a great mixer, but he is also a great teacher. We filmed a course with him where he shows how he mixed Gemini, Twins of Evil, a song from the latest Orange Goblin record that has just been released a few months ago. Awesome space rock, psychedelic space rock with a lot of automation. It's a 3-hour course where he walks you through all the tracks, all the plugins, and all his techniques. And the course also includes the multitracks from Orange Goblin, so you can mix the song yourself if you want. What you are about to watch is a part of the course where he speaks about automation and where he shows you how he automates his guitars and his vocals. And what I found fascinating is how Mike manages to get a really nice, I would call it analog feel, a really intuitive and less technical way of mixing while using a 100% digital setup. He's only using Avid controllers with iPads even. So it's a nice combination of old school and new school. Now I want to pass it on to Mike. Let's check out the Orange Goblin automation. Enjoy.
Automation. I'm going to give you an insight into how I go about it, what my thought process is, but I'll just focus on a couple of things. I'll look at the problem-solving thing first, and then I'll look at the creative use of it. If I play from the beginning of the track, we start with this sound. Okay, so there's not much to do to that part. We've already done a nice static balance. I'll spin forward a little bit to where the change happens. Now, one thing I like to do, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Luckily, I've got 16 guitar tracks. One of the benefits of me working on this control surface, which again is an organisational thing, is that it acts kind of like a digital mixer. So what I can do is go into my tracks view, and I'm going to go into an assign mode, and again, because all my colour coding is set up, I'm just going to go in and choose all of my guitars from each of the different sections, including the lead guitars, and I'm going to pop them onto the surface here. I can just take a little bit of time to make sure that what I'm getting in front of me allows me to work without having to keep going back to the screen. So I'm just going to pop the solo 3 track onto 16, and I'm going to save that as a snapshot or a layout. So I'm just going to call this guitars, which is fantastic for me because that now gets stored with the session. So anytime I want to go back to that layout, I've got my VCA layout, I've got my folder groups layout. Now I can just bring all my guitars to the surface. I'm just going to play with a couple of levels here. I'm just going to do the old-fashioned way, which is to wing it. I'm going to put all of these tracks all into, I think, touch mode. So they're now all assigned in touch mode. I'm going to start with those a bit louder. When the drums kick in, I'm going to pull them back. So in touch mode, the faders are active when I push them. When I let go, they'll drop back to the previous underlying automation lane. So I'm just going to push them up a little bit and try wing this. So that's pretty nice. As soon as the bass comes in, which I haven't actually pulled into this setup, so I'll just go into the right mode here and put this track into touch as well. So now I've got this VCA, which is pushing my bass. I'm just going to push the bass a little bit as it comes in with the toms. So. So that's now given me a little bit of push. It's allowed the guitars to drop back slightly. At the next point in the transition, I'm going to just push those guitars a little bit as they come in with those two chords. They're down, down. So I'm going to go back to my guitars layout. And there's also these two EBow tracks that come in there as well. So I'm just going to see what I can make of these parts. I'll do a pass. I'm constantly saving by double hitting. Right, so I like what I did there. I'm going to go back now. Each time he finishes singing, I'm going to push the riff. While he's singing, I'm going to push the EBows. So you'll see me operating those two sets of faders. I'll pop it across to the tracks that I'm working on. So what we're actually looking at is the two main tracks here, the two guitar tracks, and the EBows here. You'll see these moving around, and I'm writing touch-based automation. So let's see what happens there. I've kind of got it where I want it. What I might do is go back and refine a couple of things. What I was doing a little bit there was micro movements to allow the guitar riffs to push on the left and the EBows to go on the right. I'm just trying to create interest in there. If I don't like anything, I can just go in and change it. But I'm very much reacting to what's going on in the track. And I'll push all the way through the track. I'll keep working forward. So I'm just going to do the minus key, which shows me my automation lanes. Now, I'll zoom in a little bit. But what I'm getting there is quite a lot of just little pushes in and around his vocals. It's the same down here. I'm just feeling what the track needs. You're not really aware this stuff's happening. It's just an idea of how the vocals are the most important thing. I want to push and pull around them so that instead of using a compressor to duck something out of the way, I'm just making more interest happen in the track. Now, what will eventually happen is, if I now go back, it might be when I listen on my small monitors that the vocals are being drowned out by the guitar a bit. So what I can do is, because I've got my VCAs, which I've got set to 0 because they've been coalesced, I can coalesce my bass track back to 0. It hasn't changed the underlying automation, because if I look at my bass track automation, there's some little pushes in the front end of it just to bring it in and out. Now what I want to do is just make sure that my levels are sorted. Now this is a beauty of operating in VCA mode, because the automation still works. So now I'm going to solo up the bass and we'll just look at that section. So if I go to the edit window, you'll see here, in this area here, that I've done a little bit of movement on the bass. We'll probably see that in this area. But what I want you to look at is with the VCAs, I can still have the automation running like this. There are little micro movements on it, but I can take the VCA and change the overall levels whilst that automation's still happening. With the guitars, we're concentrating on these 2 guitars and these 4 guitars. They may be too loud, they may be too soft, but because these VCAs are in reed, I can take them out completely. The automation will still play back all relative. So now I'm going to balance those into the track. Cool. So I've got kind of a good starting level. Now if we go forward to this section, we'll see whether or not I've made a good decision on the levels of the guitars against the rest of the track. Okay, so I've got a better level. What I have noticed, now everything's settled, is that my lead vocal, the fake double, it just sounds a bit loud. It's taking away from the guitars. So let's just have a little listen to that. So I prefer that as a starting point. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to push it on a couple of lines that will lead into the vocal throws that I was talking about earlier. So I want touch, and I'm going to use that now. Every time I move the fader, it's going to write, and I'll show you how that looks afterwards. But I just want to balance lead and fake double and just push the fake double for effect. And what actually I'll probably also do is I'll put the lead vocal fader into touch and I'll just massage them so I get a change in balance, I get a change in width on a particular line. So we'll try it, we'll see what happens.
Have you really seen true evil? Feel the glory deep within your soul. It is the master of disguise. How can you be so deceitful while staring straight into my eyes?
I quite like that. It's a constantly changing effect. It goes from narrow to wide. The movement that happens is this.
Have you really seen true evil? Feel the glory deep within your soul. It is the master of disguise.
So I'm doing these moves that I feel will be beneficial. I would refine this for hours, making sure every single syllable is audible and whatever. Just showing you a quick overview. What I want to get to is my throws, which is what I showed you earlier. So I'm going to go into my auxiliary send mode, and I'm going to go into the flip, and I want to be on my main throw delay send, which is this fader here. And remember, I also want to do the panning for that, because I want to go between the medium throw and the long throw. So these are all things that I'll just get set up for. I'll go into my sends view here. I'll make sure that I'm flipped, that I'm controlling the right thing, just to have a little look. That's my throw fader for this track. I'm using a mode called Preview. I'll show that in a minute. It enables me to rehearse things. I've got that set, and I've also got my pan, so I can go between the left and the right pan on that particular track. So we'll just give it a go. I'm going to try writing the throw and doing a long throw on the final lines where I've widened it. It's easier to do than explain.
Have you really seen true evil? Feel the glory deep within your soul. It is the master of disguise.
Let's just get that last disguise.
Have you really seen true evil? Feel the glory deep within your soul. It is the master of disguise.
It wasn't loud enough. Let's try one more.
Have you really seen true evil? Feel the glory deep within your soul. It is the master of disguise.
And I'll just work through the track doing that. Now, I'm doing all of this by listening. I think if I open up the available views, you'll see there's a send view level. That's all my sends going to the long delay. If I open up a playlist view underneath, I can show you the pan. So all of these things would take hours to grab hold of, find the right part. So I want to send to the right hand side. I'd want to refine that, and I'd go, well, actually, I want the send on this particular line to be here, and I want to turn it up by any number of dB. Oh, let's try that. Let's try. It just seems so unintuitive to me. I want to listen to what I'm doing and provide a bit of chaos. You know, I want it to sound like it's part of a performance of a mix. I end up going through the whole song, refining things. There's creative problem solving, and there's real problem solving. The two things are just sorted with automation. If I listen to the track from start to finish and anything jumps out at me that I don't like, I can fix it with an automation pass. I can automate EQs, I can change settings for things. It just becomes an extension of my hands. I can get around any automatable parameter and tweak it and change it.
I gotta interrupt you here. I'm very sorry. I hope you enjoyed Mike Exeter. He's not only a really good engineer, he's also a great teacher, if you ask me. So if you want to see more of this, you can watch more than 3 hours of Mike walking you through every track of the Orange Goblin song and showing you his mixing techniques. If you want to find a way of working, I don't know, with modern digital tools, but with a certain old school approach, this might be the right course for you. Again, the course includes all the multi-tracks, so you can start mixing the song from day one. As usual, there are two ways how you can get this course. Click the link below to the landing page of the course. You can either just get the course at an intro price right now, or you can become a member of the Kohle Audio Cult Academy, which is not much more expensive, but then you get all our courses. Yes, I mean it, all our courses. And that is a lot. Anything you need to know about recording, mixing, and mastering all kinds of metal, like from hard rock to the most brutal forms of metal. And yeah, so many, just look it up. Just look it up. There are so many courses. There are also free plugins, free IRs, discounts, and you become a member of a great community and have a lot of fun there with me and others. Anyway, thanks a lot to Mike Exeter. Thanks to Orange Goblin for making this possible. And I hope you will all check out the Orange Goblin mixing ritual. Let's have another look at the trailer. Enough creepy salesman talk for now. Thanks for watching. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.
Hey, I'm Mike Exeter. Welcome to the Orange Goblin mixing ritual. In this course, I'm going to show you how I mixed Gemini, Twins of Evil, from the brand new Orange Goblin album, Science Not Fiction. I'll show you all my mixing techniques, every plugin, all the automation, and everything I went through to make this song sound great. The course also includes the multitracks, so you can mix the song yourself. You can even submit your mix for professional feedback by Kohle. And of course, the best mix will win some fantastic prizes. You can either purchase the course or become a member of the Kohle Audio Cult Academy, which as well as this course gives you access to all the other multitracks, plugins, and makes you part of a great community of metal mixers. So to get your hands on 5 minutes of organic and vibey sounding space rock, click the link below.
I am the face of evil. I heard the horror in their cry.